It's morbid. Harry was mercilessly drowned by Dr. Phil when he asked William to apologize. Hello, and a very warm welcome to LVT News. I don't agree with Dr. Phil on most things, but there is one quote that he said that I've got to agree with. He said no matter how flat you make a pancake, it's still got two sides. Yeah, that is true. And I think it's pretty telling that only William is the one who needs to take accountability in this whole feud. I mean, does Harry have any plans to do the same? If not, it sounds like he expects his older brother to grovel and nobody appreciates being. It also seems like Harry believes that his brother wants to reconcile when it is pretty clear to the rest of us that William has moved on. Williams is perfectly content in his life and marriage. And if Harry's not in it, well, alright. Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. William might not have anything more that he can do. Harry wants something that nobody can give him, which is inner peace. Harry has to figure that out, on his own. And Harriet said that his stupid book Spare is supposed to help little Louis and Charlotte, but he would have to be an even bigger idiot than I thought he was to believe that anybody in the media or the world of the royals would be influenced by the book that he is so obviously authorized just to make a quick buck. He knows that he is selling his family's dirty laundry, and surely he has enough conscience to know that this was not helpful to anybody except himself. If so, Harry basically just wants William to validate his complaints and his choice to write this book because he knows deep down inside that it was a money-grubbing, nasty thing to do. And I would guess, knowing Harry and the good stock he comes from, he simply does not feel at peace right now. Harry is trying to sell his family's dirty laundry, but really, he's just exposing himself to be this petty, nasty, lying troublemaker. Louis and Charlotte certainly do not need help. They are a part of a happy, loving family and extended family, too. I mean, you can just see how much Child loves those children. And Catherine's close family also gives them a chance at normal life. So Harry's trying to cover up his own instability by pretending that he really cares about his niece and his nephews. Thank goodness, though, these gorgeous, well-mannered kids have William and Catherine. His parents, Harry, maybe needs to focus on his own invisible kids. If they're real, they're going to be raised to be so spiteful and egotistical and jealous and entitled as well, just like him and Meghan. I'm afraid the only thing in their lives that might spoil things is their Uncle Harry trying to put ideas of jealousy or division in their little heads. Now, for the time being, they seem to be so supportive of one another. Louis, for example, will run after Charlotte with flowers. And Charlotte likes helping George. The protocol of the funeral, and they're simply not the type of kids to always compete for attention. They've got plenty of attention from both their parents. They are very unlike Harry was when he was their age. I think they are also being raised to understand that they're all going to have their role, and it is valuable in their own way. And then Harry wants to introduce this idea that they should be resentful and they should feel trapped in their positions. It's sad to say, but I believe this is deliberate. I think this is spiteful sabotage of William's lovely little family. And Harry's pretending that his. And I don't even understand what he expects. An apology for Prince William is hardly responsible for what the tabloids write about him or Meghan, or the staff finds her so awful. They find her endless demands tiresome and a pain in the bottom to deal with. But Prince William did have a problem with the way that she was acting towards staff. And so he spoke to Harry about her rude and abrasive behavior and the way that she treated staff in general. Meghan obviously does not understand how to address people respectfully, and she also doesn't know how to endear herself to people. Meghan has alienated, basically, her whole family and also Harry's family and friends, too. And if Harry decided not to listen to his older brother, well, that's his problem. The two of them are just so overly sensitive, so thin-skinned, nobody could even have a simple conversation with them without the two of them just blowing. I don't know them personally. And I think, I'm glad. I mean, they sound exhausting. Ultimately, though, This power play comes from Meghan's jealousy because she did not get what she wanted. And then Harry is just trying his best to keep her happy, to give in to her every little whim as she tries to compete with William and Catherine. And I'm sure that's what this whole issue with the titles and security was, really. I think it had everything to do with the desultory duo. Not fully understanding the letters patent and generally being incredibly envious of the Cambridge kids because they are in direct line of succession. They're not so important in the grand scheme of things. In fact, they're pretty insignificant in relation to the crown itself. But they expect equality in terms of power and money and titles. But, of course, they don't want to have to deal with any of the pesky responsibilities. When it comes to the crown, they're certainly not equal, but they cannot seem to understand that. And everybody is just tired of their constant demands and their attention-seeking behavior. Obviously, they did not want to live a life of service. And they didn't want to play a supporting role in the monarchy. And that's why they just keep on winding on the Australian tour. They are winding the rest of the time and demanding to be half and half out royals. And they really thought the royal family was going to give in to their threats. Well, of course they didn't. And now they're whining about it. Still, over 2 years later, in the biggest wine fest the world has ever seen. The fact is, William has taken accountability along with Catherine. They are taking accountability for the Prince and Princess of Wales' functions on behalf of the monarchy, as well as the people of Britain and Commonwealth. So I'm sorry, Harry, if you really want to be a celebrity in Hollywood and you want to throw your whole family under the bus, then tough. It's not right for you to come running back when everything goes south and your wife moves on like she has done a few times before already. Only this time, she's probably going to walk away with a huge payoff at annual maintenance for herself and invisible kids too. And you know what, Harry, when that happens, don't even try to come crawling back with your tail between your legs. Going by recent events, it's pretty clear that Harry, being in the UK for testimony in regards to privacy, is just Harry trying to get attention for himself. Now, Harry has a part of that class action lawsuit that's going on. And some of the same people who claim they want privacy. But they're out there airing their dirty laundry for all to know. I mean, I refer to them as hypocrites because what other word really describes their behavior? They already knew 28 days in advance that Harry was going to be there. So guess it was simply not available. I mean, we all know what's happening in France right now. There are these riots over adding a couple of more years to the retirement age. So King Charles was supposed to be in France, and then that trip had to be cancelled. So he made sure that he was unavailable for Harry while he was in the UK. And I don't blame him one bit. And because it's the Easter holidays for the children, of course, William and his family are away, too. Pretty convenient, and neither of them was around while Harry was in the UK. To even take a second to bother with him. It just goes to show they don't want anything to do with him, and they don't want to hear from him. I mean, after Harry has exposed so many things that were said and done in private, who would waste their time talking to him? It is time for the royal family to move on. And you know what, maybe he'll be there, but they don't have to acknowledge him. That is what they've been doing. And I believe that's what they're going to continue to do. And when Coronation Day rolls around, Harry and Meghan might be there, but I doubt they're going to be getting any kind of spotlight on themselves. They are demanding to get to stand up there on the balcony. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sure it's not going to happen. They have already said that only senior working royals are allowed up there, and that is, at this time, the person I do